Naruto, huh? Been a while since I've done one of these. Luckily, I have a very good method that I've used on my Bleach reviews that helps me jog my memory. Previously on Naruto. Gaara kills his dad. Naruto kills Mu. Naruto also kills Third Raikage. Kind of. And the second Mizukage turns out to be the strongest of the four. Oh, and also he releases his ultimate jutsu, which causes infinite explosions, and he gives it the lamest name ever. And now chapter 557. Yeah, I was going to do my title intro for this one too, but then I started realizing all the clips in the title intro have to do with Bleach, and I think I might have to do a new one for Naruto and any other series that I start to review. But yeah, that's the reason for that. And also, if you hear any ambient noise, it's either because of the rain and my neighbors, because these walls are like paper thin. Fix that later. And yeah, let's start the chapter. So the chapter starts with the Mizukage releasing his ultimate jutsu, Jokey Boy. Sounds even silly when I say it out loud. So he activates that, and that big, huge cloud starts up with the smiley face. And that becomes hail, and that comes down with hail. Now, here's the part where, even after reading this a couple times, I'm still a little bit confused on the mechanics of how this works. I mean, Onoki goes on explanation how to explain how it works, and he also, shows a diagram and stuff, but still, it is a little bit confusing how this jutsu works. Basically, the Mizukage creates this clone that's the size of a child, and the child is filled with water, and I guess it's like water and oil, like the same oil he used to dissolve the sand. So that's what the child's made out of, and that creates steam. That heats up and creates steam that creates like infinite explosions, like over and over again. Not really sure how the whole thing works, but it's basically a combination of oil, steam, hail, and water. So yeah, let's just go with that. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit hard to explain, but basically it's a clone that is wicked fast, and it can explode infinitely. It has to explode, it contracts, explodes again, contracts again. So that's how that works. So it activates its little scythe blade, and then things start zooming around the battlefield. Gaara tries to stop it with the sand, which doesn't work that well. And Onoki also explains, though, that while the jutsu is activated, the actual Mizukage's body is extremely weak, and he can't use any more jutsu. So one of the sensor ninja actually gets a little smart here, and he's being like, oh, wait a minute. If he can't use genjutsu and he doesn't have any power, then I should be able to sense him with just like a normal technique. So he uses that, and sure enough, he finds him. He's hiding behind a rock. So Gaara goes and tries to seal him with his sand. Meanwhile, the clone is beginning to swell up again. He's going to explode. Oh, okay, I kind of get it now, kind of. I mean, it was a little hard to understand at first, but basically, it moves around, and because it moves around so fast, that creates friction, which heats up the water inside of it, which creates steam, which is how it gets so big, which then it explodes, and it contracts again through the hail. Interesting jutsu. But anyway, Gaara activates his pyramid imperial desert funeral again. They try to seal him, but the doll shows up really quickly and rips off the sealing tag. The jutsu comes undone. Mizukage pops out again, and for some reason, I don't know why, if it's just the style of the drawing that Kishimoto did it in this chapter, or if it's because the Mizukage's energy is so low, but he looks completely baked in this chapter. He does. His eyes are always so wide, and he has like all these bags under his eyes. He's just like, dude, it's all sand. So yeah, so they try to seal him back up again, and then the Mizukage suddenly has like a change of heart or something. He's just like, how are you going to defeat me? And everyone's like, well, I thought you were going to tell us. I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, so I don't know the reason with that. I mean, I thought for a second Kabuto might have taken control of his mind, but no, he still seems the same. He just kind of changed his mind. I guess he wants to see, how strong Gaara really is or something. I don't know, but he won't tell him how to defeat the jutsu. So he says he's helping them in a different way, though, which really, at the end of the chapter, we really don't know what he meant by that, because we'll get to that at the end of the chapter. But he sends the clone at him, and the clone lands. It's about to explode, and I guess he thought Gaara was going to be like this unique genius among the Kage because he's so young. He calls him a golden duckling of the Kages, but it just turns out he's normal, well, from his perspective. So the bomb detonates, which reminds me a lot like Deidara's explosive clone. Remember that he made a clone out of clay, and it got really fat, then it blew up. That reminded me a lot of that. So that explodes, create another smiley face. This one, Naruto and his little team notice, though, so they're heading to the battlefield. Gaara, which apparently, I don't know about this, but Gaara apparently has like this unlimited supply of chakra. Because he's been fighting non-stop. He's been fighting with his dad, he's been fighting with all the other Kages for a short while, and he still has all this energy to create a huge sand shield in the form of his mom to protect everyone from the explosion. So, yeah, I don't know, and he has enough sand to create like those 2 desert imperial, those pyramid funerals things. I'm just saying, I know Gaara has a lot of chakra, but damn. So, once again, for like the 15th time, Gaara tries to seal him again with the sand, but doesn't work. Clone shows up, interrupts him, and Clone charges Gaara, and this time, though, it's a sand clone. And it lands on the ground again, and it's about to contract and explode again, which, another thing, too, it's like, the rate of which between it explodes and contracts is kind of random. Like, it exploded last chapter, then it went back to being small, then it took like half the chapter for it to expand again, then blow up, and then it took only like 2 pages for it to do it again, so it's kind of inconsistent. It turns out that Gaara, somehow, I don't know how he did this, he actually managed to mix his father's golden dust into the sand so he could trap the Jokey Boy in it, because gold is 20 times heavier than water, and that's why it slowed it down so much. And also, because it was heated up so much, it also melted the gold like right on contact. So all that gold was melted, and it apparently cooled it down enough so it wouldn't explode. At least I think that's how that works. I don't know. And the chapter ends with the bomb being defused, I guess. I'm not really sure. It's just, I mean, Gaara stopped it from moving, and he stopped it from exploding this one time. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't think he completely stopped it. And the chapter ends with the Mizukage making a really bad joke. Wait a second! You are a golden duckling! Get it? Because he used gold to stop Jokey Boy, and he said golden duckling, so it's oh ha ha ha. Makes so much sense. So yeah, there is Naruto Chapter 557. A little confusing at first. I read this chapter today, and the first time I read it, you know, I was kind of confused, like, wait, this jutsu works how? Wait, water, steam, hail, wait, what is... It explodes and contracts. That's pretty much all I got from the chapter. It explodes and then contracts and explodes and contracts. But, yeah, after that, though, after you understand basically what happened, you have to read it through a couple times. Naruto's always like that, though. You know, it's Bleach. With Bleach, it's just all like, oh, you have an energy blast. It works like swinging your sword. You know, oh, your sword turns to ice. It works by doing this. You know, it's not a lot of careful thought out. Naruto is more, I don't want to say realistic, because we have ninjas that can breathe fire and summon giant frogs whenever they want, so it's not realistic, but it obeys more to the laws of, you know, reality. So that's what they wanted to happen here. They wanted to, I think Kishimoto wanted to have like a solid, good method as to how this thing works, you know? I mean, if this thing occurred in Bleach, it would just be like a doll that explodes and contracts and explodes and contracts. They wouldn't mention how it works. They wouldn't mention how anything happens. It just explodes for the hell of it. So this time, Kishimoto's really good at explaining how that worked, even though you have to read it through a couple times. Next chapter. I don't know. I really hope we get around to sealing this dude, because, you know, it's, like I said, it's been like every single time they say, oh, I'm going to seal him with my sand. Get the sealing tags ready. Never works. It never freaking works. It's just crazy that he ends up being the strongest Kage. I think he ends up being the strongest Kage of the 4. You know, you'd think it'd be the Raikage or Mu. It ends up being the guy that we all thought was not the weakest, maybe, but maybe the weakest in terms of the Kages, but we never knew anything about him, so I guess that makes sense. Well, whatever. So, that's my review. Sorry if it was a little, you know, kind of like rushed here. Tonight I have a lot of work to do, and I know everyone's been wanting a Naruto review, and I keep saying I'm going to put one out. And this week, I mean, I had a lot of work to do tonight for my classes tomorrow. And I was only going to do Bleach again, but I thought, you know what, I can't do this another week, because they've been wanting this for a while. It might be rushed, it might be erratic, it might not be me trying to understand, because if I picked one chapter to explain, it had to be the one with the really complex chemistry equations. But, yeah, so, sorry if it was a little rushed, sorry if it was a little confusing, but, there's your Naruto review. So, I hope I made people happy with that. Don't expect it all the time, but there you go. So yeah, thanks for watching my video. Tekking101 signing out.